The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Increased Productivity with MS Outlook Integration for Application Development. Our guest speaker today is Puranjay Chatterjee. He is the Director, Product Solutions at Kovair Software Inc. Puranjay has been working with the Kovair ALM product for the last 13 years. He currently heads the solution team for the Omnibus product line in Kovair and has been working on multi-vendor tool integration for the last 5 years. He has been involved in architecture, design and development of Kovair's Omnibus integration platform. He has helped many companies discover the benefits of integrated ALM by designing, building and deploying solutions for them. He has represented Kovair in many public events as a technical expert on tool integration. So, without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Puranjay.
Thanks, Aradhana. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on increased productivity with MS Outlook integration for application development. Without further delay, I would start the presentation right now. So this is going to be our agenda for today. I'm going to discuss on the following topics. First point is what is integrated ALM. So Outlook, of course, is a tool that is used by a lot of people. Those who are outside the application development boundary, they are also pretty much users of Outlook. But we are going to limit our discussion to the application development forum. So then I'll be discussing about what are the benefits of integrated ALM. So these 2 points would introduce you to application lifecycle management. Then we'll come to the question, why integrate with Outlook? Next, how does it help in project execution? How it impacts the productivity of the team? And then we'll see a short demo, about 15 minutes, on how it's working in conjunction with the other tools in the ALM framework. So let's move on to the next slide. What is integrated ALM? So integrated ALM brings together the people, the processes, and the tools that are used in application development. And all these together work as a combined platform or an integrated platform where all the tools talk to each other. The first benefit is data visibility across tools. So we get to see all the data that is relevant to each user within their tool of choice. So for example, a developer who's writing code, excuse me, a developer writing code should be able to see the requirements being maintained in a different tool, maybe a tool like Requisite Pro or RRC, and also the test cases that have been developed by the testing team. Next point would be traceability between objects in different tools. So we all know that it's easy to have traceability between objects maintained in the same tool. But when it comes across different tools from multi-vendors, it is difficult to have traceability between these objects. And when we have end-to-end traceability across tools, irrespective of what vendor has provided that tool, change management and impact analysis is benefited in a huge way. So even if I make a change in a disconnected tool from IBM, the changes will show that what are the items that got impacted in another tool maybe provided by HP or even another tool provided by Microsoft. The third benefit here is process automation across tools. So it would be great if we could have a central place where we could define the processes or workflows which are used by different silos of software development. So requirements management, designing, development, testing, all these different people have different processes and workflows, and it would be great if we could manage it from a central point so that the boundary between these tools is broken and the process can seamlessly flow from one tool to another. And the last point, but most important one, is dashboards and reports across tools. So in a platform where it's not integrated, it's very difficult to get an aggregated report which constitutes of all the data coming in from different tools. So you probably need to get the data out of each tool, put it on an Excel, and then do the aggregation manually and then come up with a consolidated report. But if we have integrated ALM, this is like a piece of cake. You just need to click on a particular icon or a button and you should get a report which draws in the data from all the connected tools. So these are the 4 main benefits of having an integrated ALM system. Next, why Outlook? So okay, now we understand what is integrated ALM, what is ALM and all that, but why do we need to integrate Outlook with that? Outlook is a email client, right? So first reason is Outlook is immensely popular. I was just going through the statistics and it shows that the 17% of total email users are using Outlook. Of course, iPhone has overtaken it and it's at 24%, but Outlook still remains very popular. So Microsoft Exchange Server and Microsoft Office 365, so these are the new offerings from Microsoft for email, and they currently account for 51% of worldwide mailboxes in the business and the collaboration market. So this is from a source called Radicati. And Microsoft themselves, they claim that Outlook.com has over 400 million active users, and it's the world's fastest growing email service. So this is the Outlook that is provided as a service. And overall, more than 1 billion people use Microsoft Office. That's also stated in the Microsoft site. So we can all imagine that Outlook is very popular, and among the developers or the other people involved in the application development lifecycle, like the requirement analysts, the testers, the technical writers, and everyone. So Outlook is very popular amongst them. This is another slide which shows that the percentage of different email clients. So of course the numbers do not match because that was from a different source, this is from a different source, and the methods they use to track these email clients is different. Here it shows that 35% is for iOS devices, 20% is for Outlook, and 13% for Outlook.com, that is the hosted Outlook service. So it's a pretty popular tool. Now the next question is that, okay, so it's popular, but that can't be the only reason why we should integrate it with our ALM tools, which are like the most comfortable tools for the developers. Why should I integrate Outlook with that? So these are the reasons. Outlook is always on. So I think it's a very common situation that people, after landing up in Office, the first thing they do is they open up their Outlook and let it get refreshed, let all the mails come in, and often it's the last thing that is closed on our way out from Office, or sometimes it is not closed at all. It is left open to run for eternity. So that's one reason. So this is a tool which is always available, always on. Next one, it acts as a conduit to our mobile devices. So most of us who are using smartphones nowadays, they have all their office mails and personal mails integrated with their phones. And yes, so if I can do something, if I can put a notification on Outlook, or if I can post a task on Outlook for a particular person, then I can rest assured that he or she will be able to see it within a few minutes, either from the desktop or from the laptop or mobile or tab or any other devices. So items in Outlooks are always available from any device. Next, so this is not only about emails. Outlook also has tasks, calendars, contacts. And these are items which are very frequently used in project execution. So we need to often send emails to people in our team. We need to add new users. We need to check calendars, whether I can assign a job to someone. And some customer contact has sent an email excuse me, regarding a problem they are facing, a defect or an issue. So that contact also, I should be able to synchronize that in my other tools that I'm using for defect tracking. So these adding of contacts, calendars, and tasks are often manually done. So we need to open up those tools. Say, for example, I need to open up my MS project and add the task over there, or I need to open up the user list from Quality Center and add the new tester who joined the team, things like that. But what if we could do all this from Outlook itself? Just on a click of a button, if I could push a task to a user, or if I could import some contacts, that would be of great help. And last point is Outlook is where the inputs often arrive. So this is so true, because we get so many mails from our own team, also from the customers and all other stakeholders of the project. So they mostly communicate over email. So nowadays, written mails or paper documents are almost not there. So any communication is mostly done on emails, other than telephonic ones, which anyway you cannot put into this category. So these are the main reasons why we thought it's important to integrate Outlook with our application development tools. So now, after integration with our tools, what are the impacts we can see? The first one is we can post artifacts directly to our development tools. So meaning that I got an email from a customer or a contact saying about a particular thing that needs to be considered while I'm developing the software. So I can easily just click on it and say that add as a requirement, and it should get added to my requirements management tool. It should be as easy as that. And defects, change requests, so all these items are typically, they are coming from outside sources or sometimes from our teammates also. So it would be great if we can just post them directly to the concerned tools instead of selecting it, copying it, pasting it inside the tool. So for that you need to log into your development tool and do that. So, and what if you are traveling, you're in a taxi or you're just about to fly somewhere, and you get this email on your phone. All you need to do is just click on a button and it will be posted to your respective tool. Also, if a defect is assigned to you, so this is an internal communication when a defect is getting assigned to you. Maybe you are working on some different window, or you are in a meeting or something, but you can always see that the mail pops up and you can see that, okay, so I got a defect which is extremely critical and urgent one. So as soon as I'm done with this job, I can jump directly into that. So this is extremely useful if you are working remotely or from client side. In the sense that when you're on client side, you are often not able to connect to the tools that you have been using inside your premise. And in this condition, it's difficult to post your artifacts inside your tools. So what you need to do is either forward that mail to someone who's on premise and he or she can log it into the system, or you need to keep collecting them in a document, then send it over, and then again the copy paste comes into picture. So all these things, if we could do it from Outlook or from email, it would be very, very useful. So I can just click on it and it will get added to the respective tool. So the next one is manage your development task from Outlook. So what we can do here is we can create development tasks for teammates. So I got a mail which is basically a defect, and I'm the project manager. I don't directly work on defects. So what I do is just forward this mail to the test manager or the development manager and just say that add it as a defect, and it should automatically get added as a defect, and the task should get created for this particular person whom I'm forwarding the mail to. Next is get your own development task delivered in your inbox. So this is the other side of the story where you are the development manager or the test manager or just a programmer, and you can see your task getting delivered inside your Outlook, and you can do the scheduling, you can move it across to some other time slot, accept the task, or decline the task saying that you are on leave on that particular day, and things like that. And Outlook is also used to maintain our other tasks like meetings and appointments and things like that. So along with them, we can see our development tasks also in the same pane, and so it's easy to maintain conflicts or manage conflicts among our different time slots. Also, we should be able to update our progress directly from the Outlook task, and this updation of progress, say I've done it 50%, it should get automatically reflected in my project management tool or from where I'm maintaining the schedule or task, say for example MS project, Microsoft project. So if you mark a task as completed inside your Outlook, then it should get reflected in your MS project or other project management tool that this job has got completed. Other impacts, yes, we can synchronize our calendars and contacts from different other tools being used. So for example, if we are using something like a CRM application like Salesforce, where we are getting leads, people are sending inquiries, and I just want to, instead of typing out their name and email and all that in my Outlook contacts, I can just do a import, or I can say get contacts, and all these contacts should automatically get added to my Outlook. Similarly, for ITSM applications or service desk, help desk kind of applications where customers are logging tickets or they are calling up the support executives and complaining about something, and it comes up as a support ticket. So these contacts also should get added to my Outlook without me having to explicitly type it out. So these are some of the advantages that we are getting during project execution. Let's move on to the next slide. So this is a graphical one showing you how Outlook plays the role of a central tool while connecting the different other ALM tools and ITSM tools, like Salesforce being a CRM tool. The contacts are getting synchronized. From ITSM tools, we are synchronizing the contacts, tickets, work items, we are creating them, getting updates from the ALM tools like TFS, HP Quality Center, Jira, Bugzilla, Clarity, ClearCase, so whatever tool you are using in your environment. And also the project planning and task management from MS Project. So the tasks should get synchronized, the calendars should get synchronized with Outlook. So what are the impacts on productivity that we are gaining out of this? First is the time saved by not switching between applications. So here the not should be in capitals, because just for example, I just need to close a task. For that, if I need to open up my MS project and connect to my project server and open the task and mark as complete, I've wasted 5 minutes of my time doing that. Instead, Outlook is always on. So all you need to do is just go to your task pane and mark it as complete. That's all. It should get completed in all the other connected tools. So second point is something which I already talked about, that it's cumbersome to open an application just to update the status of a task, or say for example a defect I was working on has just been fixed and I need to open up the defect management tool, log into it, find that defect and mark the status as complete. Instead, I can just complete the Outlook task and that should work. Next one is Outlook notifications. So Outlook notifications, the things that pop up in the bottom right hand side of the screen, so they can immediately let you know that you got a task or a defect got, or customer send you a requirement which you need to immediately transfer to your requirement analysis team. So that's also a helpful tool. And finally, the adding of work items to respective tools. So while on the move, so from mobile devices, as I was saying, you may be on in a taxi or driving a car, or okay, so driving a car may be too much because you need to take your hands off to do this. But anyway, so while you're traveling, you can use your mobile device to just add these work items to their respective tools. So you don't waste the time between the time you are spending on traveling. Next is reduce replication of work. So directly convert the customer's emails to these work items. You don't need to open the tools, copy paste items from your email to these tools. And also you can directly add the leads and other contacts in your Outlook. And no copy paste required. So yeah, typically what we do is do a copy paste of these things, but using this Outlook integration, you should not require to do that. And as I mentioned, no chance of missing tasks. So if you have all your tasks in Outlook, all those who are Outlook users, you have seen that the calendar view of Outlook that is pretty explicit, pretty much on your face, so you can see all your tasks over there and you can work on them, so there's no chance of missing them. Okay, so just a few slides over here, a couple of slides on what is the Kovair solution in this respect, and then we will move on to showing you the action, that is the live demo, where we won't be showing the Kovair solution. It will remain in the background. We'll be showing you the different connected tools and how easy it is to work with Outlook and use this integration. So what is the Kovair solution? So Kovair provides a platform and services for integrating multi-vendor tools for creating a unified software development environment. And what this environment provides us is an integrated view of all the ALM tools, and it's not only ALM but tools like Salesforce, ServiceNow, Remedy, which are not exactly ALM tools, so service desk tools or CRM tools. So all these tools can be integrated together, and we can have a central repository where all these data items can be copied into, and those can be used for tracking, reporting, and dashboarding. So as I was saying in the integrated ALM slide, that we have a central reporting and dashboarding capability. Next is the process automation, where Kovair allows you to define workflows between different objects, passing on from one tool to another, so a total coherent workflow for all the systems, cutting across the tool boundaries. And third is our integration technology, that is Omnibus Integration Platform. So this platform is completely built on service-oriented architecture, and it's based on the ESB or Enterprise Service Bus pattern. And we have connectors for all the major tools in the market. and the latest connector being the one with Outlook. So let's move on to the next slide. This is an overview of the Omnibus architecture, where we have the different third-party tools that we often come across in our software development process. And all these tools are connected via adapters to the central Kovair Omnibus platform. And what this enables is a cross connection between all these tools, so you can pass on data from any of these tools to the other one. And through these plugins for Eclipse and Visual Studio, you can view all the data of the connected tools. So like all the ALM tools mentioned here, we have an adapter for Outlook also, which enables us to pass these tasks and these contacts and all this information across these different connected tools. And this is the last slide. This shows all the connected tools in Kovair's ecosystem today. So we have adapters for all these tools. We have 40+ tool integrations today. And as you can see, for requirement management, there are 4 tools, including Doors, JAMA, Requisite Pro. For configuration management, we have so many of them. I think it's probably 8 in number, starting from Perforce, ClearCase to Git, GitHub. And some other tools like Salesforce, MS Outlook, that is the email client we are discussing about. And also it supports IBM OSLC paradigm for connecting items. Clarity, so a lot of tools here, and help desk tools like Remedy, ServiceNow. So we have adapters for all these tools. They are all connected with each other, and Outlook being the latest member, which gets connected to all these ALM tools. So moving ahead, let's go and see it live in action. So I'll just go to the demo scenario, where what we will do is we'll add a requirement from Outlook. Just from an email, we'll just click add requirement and it should add it. Then add a defect from Outlook. Then we'll go to the requirement management tool and the defect management tool and see those items appear over there automatically. Then we'll go and add a defect from Quality Center, assuming that the tester is testing and found a defect there, and added it to this QC tool, and that should come up in Outlook and show it as a task for the tester. Then we'll go to Jira and show the defect that we added from Outlook has appeared in Jira, and also we'll show how we can assign tasks to other users and how they can accept it. So let's go ahead and open up the Outlook instance. Alright, so this is the Outlook that we are showing in this demo, and this mailbox belongs to Shayok S. Roy, and as we can see, this is his inbox, and he's got a mail from this particular person called Shomonil Chaudhary. And let's see what we have to do to add this as a requirement. So my Outlook has become not responding. Give me a second. Okay, so here it is. So we have a tab here called Omnibus, which is basically due to the Omnibus integration plugin that we have. And over here you can see that the different icons over here, add a requirement, add a defect, add as change request. So these are all configurable. These are not hard-coded items. So you can have more items over here based on what are the artifacts you are interested in. So what we will do is we'll select this requirement and go to this icon and just click on add as requirement. And that should be enough. We can see that it has given us a bar over here which shows that Kovair Omnibus requirement, and this particular mail from my inbox has now gone to my requirements management tool. Now let us open up an item which should be added as a defect. So this is a mail that I think it should go as a defect and it should appear in the defect management tool. So the title reads defect for chat application, valid users are unable to log in. And the previous one we used was also related to chat application. I think the title was users, classes and features. Okay, so let's add this as a defect and then move on to the other tools and see how it appears over there. Alright, so this has been added as a Kovair Omnibus defect. Now let's go to our Requisite Pro instance where we are managing the requirements. So I'll open up a different server where my Requisite Pro is being used from. So okay, here I am. Let me just open Requisite Pro. So I'll open up the connected project. And here we see. So we have the requirement already in Requisite Pro. The same title is appearing as the name of the requirement. The text or the body of the mail has appeared as the description over here. So let's now go to Quality Center, which we are using as the test management tool. So Quality Center is open over here, and in this requirements list we don't see that requirement that we added. So let us just go and refresh it. It should get the new requirement. There it is, chat application, and along with all the description that was there in the mail body. So it's it's a huge time saver if I can do this. I can directly click on one single button and push my items into the respective tools. Now let's go to, okay, so let me add a defect from Quality Center and let me see the reversed flow. So how this defect becomes a task for a particular user. So let me just call it defect added for chat application. Copy it, paste it in the description. And fill out the mandatory fields here. Assign it to a particular user. So Shayok in this case, because his mailbox is the one that we are working with. And click on submit. So this gets added as a defect in Quality Center, and it should come up as a task for the manager who's going to assign it to a different user. Now we had added a defect from our Outlook. So let's go to the defect management tool in question. Let's go to Jira and see whether that defect is showing up over there. Alright, so this is my Jira screen. Let me wait for a minute to get it refreshed. Alright, so we have the Jira screen here. Now all we'll do is just refresh this list, and we see a defect has got added here. Defect chat application, valid users are unable to log in. So remember, this is the defect that we had added from our Outlook, and it is showing in my defect management tool. It comes along with the description, and there are some other fields that also we can carry into the defect management tool. So let's close this one, and now let's go to Outlook let me open up my Outlook once again. Here it is. And let me click on Get Task. Okay, so I can see something coming up here, and so this is the task, defect added for chat application. This is the one that we added from Quality Center, and it comes up inside my Outlook. Now if we go to task list, so this is the defect added for chat application. This is the description, and by default the date is set for today, so we can change it to some other date. We can see that over here the owners are given as Arunava Bhattacharya and Sugata Datta. So this is because of some policies and process which we have configured inside Kovair. So this task is supposed to be routed to these two people who will actually go and fix the defect. So let's see how easily we can do that. Alright, so let me just, okay. So I'll close the Outlook and log in once again for that particular user. So Arunava was one of the users. And I've logged in as Arunava. We'll wait for a minute to let Outlook synchronize and get the latest items. So basically a send receive. We should be able to see a mail come up over here for the task assignment. So it's still updating inbox. There we are. So a mail has arrived from Shayok, who was the manager who got the initial task, and he has forwarded it to the particular tester who's going to do this, and he or she has the option here to either accept it or decline it. And let us click on accept. And it's got added to his task list. So that's how simple the integration looks like once it is done. Now we'll try to add a contact. So let me open up the Kovair application to add contacts. So instead of Kovair application, it can be any other application that you're using for project management. So in our case, it's Kovair. We'll just log in over here. Okay, so let me do that from Mozilla. Let's go to the contacts and create a new one. So you can visualize this as a new user getting added to your project team. or it can be a lead in your CRM tool like Salesforce, or it can be a customer who has logged in some problem from a service desk application. So I'm filling out the first name, last name, title, email, company, and I'm making him a contact for this particular user whose Outlook we are checking here, and you can give the other details of the contact as well. And after doing that, what we can do is we can save it. So we are showing Kovair over here. It may not be Kovair, it can be any other tool where you're managing your users. So this is the last one user that got added, that is John Smith for the Kovair company. Now let's go back to Outlook and see how we can get these contacts into Outlook. Let's close this particular inbox or mail account and open up Shyok's mail, because that is the person whom we assigned the contact to. So there we go, that is Shyok's mailbox, and we'll wait for a minute for it to get updated. It's getting connected to Microsoft Exchange, updating the folder. We'll just wait for the update to complete. Still updating. Updating inbox. So all folders are up to date. So now what do we need to do to get the contacts? We've just got to click on this Get Contacts menu bar, and these are the two contacts that got added. So Alan Taylor is someone that we had added for testing an hour back maybe, and John Smith is the one that we added right now. So both these contacts have appeared inside our Outlook. Let's close this and go to the contacts view or the people view and see whether it got added. There we are. John Smith has got added here, and the email and all other details are over here. It shows manager, Kovair, and similarly for Alan Taylor. So that's more or less all that I had to show in today's demo. There are a lot of other things which are more into the integration with other tools, so I would not go into that. So this is the value that we get out of the Outlook integration, and now I would like to open it up for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Puranjoy, for the insightful presentation. So let's now quickly take up the questions. I request you to please read out the questions and their answers so that all our users may listen to the insights. You can get the questions in the questions doc. I hope it's in front of you now.
Yes, so I've opened up the questions. The first question is, why integrate with Outlook? Okay, so that was towards the beginning of the presentation. So I have already given the answer to that in the presentation, but just in case if you have joined in late, the answer is people are using some email client or the other, and Outlook still holds a majority share of users in the email client world, and Outlook is a tool which is always open on our desktop when we are working in office or at home or in a client side. And if we can integrate with Outlook, if we can push items directly from Outlook or see items within our Outlook, then it would be really useful if we are in a remote location or we are traveling and these kind of situations. So let's move on to the next question. shall we integrate Outlook with third-party applications? Okay, so yes, I mean that's what we are showing here, that what are the values, what are the benefits you get if you integrate Outlook with third-party applications. So in this short demo that we showed, we tried to show 3 or 4 tools that we had integrated with Outlook and what kind of value you get for that. So for example, your task, development task can appear directly in front of you in your mailbox, and there's no chance of missing those tasks. And also you can, if you get some email from a customer or some teammate that this needs to be added as a requirement, you can just click a button and add it to the corresponding tool. So moving on to the next question. Do we need to integrate Omnibus with Outlook? Well, we have already done this integration, so all you need to do is, if you have an ecosystem of tools that are connected with Omnibus, then all you need to do is just use our Outlook adapter and configure it within Omnibus. So you just need to hook it on to Omnibus and use it inside your Integrated ALM ecosystem. So, alright, so let's move on to the next question, which says, hi Puranjay, please explain a task assignment to a particular person for a defect from Outlook, and is it possible to assign to multiple persons? Yes, so the way it works is that the task typically is having a field which says who's the owner or who should be the owner of that particular task. And when this task is created, it first goes to the manager based on the roles and the structure defined inside your project management tool, or in this case it was Kovair. And when the manager gets it and accepts it, it is passed on to the owners. In this case itself, we had shown that there were 2 owners, and we opened up the mailbox of one owner and showed you the task appearing over there in his inbox. So similarly, another task would appear in the other user's inbox, and they should be able to accept it or reject it. The next question is, how can we integrate Outlook with multiple tools? Alright, so I hope I could show some of that in the demo, because we had shown integration with Requisite Pro, with Jira, and with Quality Center. So 3 of the very popular tools in the ALM cycle, and we have used 3 of them for 3 different purposes. And for Requisite Pro, we pushed the requirement. For Jira, we pushed the defect into Jira. And from Quality Center, we collected a defect that was raised in Quality Center, and it got assigned as a task to the different developers and testers. The next question is, this was super, both product as well as demo. Do we also have integration with MS Communicator or other chat tools? No, not at this moment. We do not have integration with MS Communicator, but yes, that is something we can look into, because the priority of creating adapters is based on the interest we get from our customers, existing customers and prospects. So if we see more and more people asking about Communicator or the other chat tools which are internally used in the offices, so we will definitely add it in our priority. How about defect or requirement modification or deletion? Okay, so that's also a nice question. Yes, so we can send notifications on every event that you can do within your ALM tools. So if you are modifying a defect, or you are deleting it, or you are relating it with another defect, so all these actions come to us as events, and we can push notifications to Outlook for all of these events. And with the updated data, of course, if it is an update, the updated field values should also appear in Outlook. Next question is, how can we integrate this with Zoho CRM also? Oh yes, we can integrate this with most of the tools which have some sort of an API. So we have very thin adapters that utilize the tool API and connect to that tool. So I think Zoho CRM has been mentioned by some of our customers also, and it's been looked into right now, and we should definitely be able to connect to that. As of now, we do not have a ready-made adapter for this Zoho, but going forward, I'm sure you'll get to see that we have one. The next question is e-support. Are you providing the adapter to integrate in Outlook? Yes, so we are providing the adapter. We have built the adapter. That is the adapter that was working in the background during this demo. And the way we do it is we give our integration platform to our customers, and whatever specific adapters they require for their environment, we provide those to our customers. Shall we see the project? Next question is, shall we see the project progress in calendar like time slots? Yes, so we can do that. I did not show that part in the demo, but it should come up just like, you know, when you have a meeting or something, it blocks out that particular time from your calendar. So we can do that, but for that we need to do the planning of the task. In this session that I had shown, we did not do the task planning. So we need to put the start date, end date, and things like that. So if we do that, it should come up in the calendar. Next question is, isn't this risky to transfer wrong info to customer or stakeholder if some wrong update happens in one tool? Okay, so that choice is with the users who are, you know, configuring the project, whom you want to send the mails and tasks. So definitely we would not like to send all updates to our customers, because you know, that update may not be the final one. There may be a problem. It may have to be reviewed, and so it's typically used more of a internal updation process, and the output, the outside information that we integrate with is typically things that customers are sending to us and not what we would like to send to customers. So that would, I mean, that is still a thing that has to be dealt with personally instead of, you know, doing an automated thing for that. Next question is, what kind of reports are generated as part of the dashboard? Keen to know what kind of metrics are generated. All right, so that's a nice question. So we take pride in generating lots of different kinds of dashboards. So these dashboards are typically interactive dashboards with drill down capabilities, so you can drill down and find out what are the artifacts that belong to a particular section of a pie, and you can go to that to a particular artifact also by doing multiple drill downs. And the metrics that we show are, there's no such standard metric that we put up on the dashboards. It is all configurable. We do give some metrics pre-configured based on the customer's requirement, but it depends. I mean, customers are most welcome to, you know, add their own metric. They can put in their own formula based on the data which is stored in the tools, and they can generate these metrics. Many of the CRMs and other applications also provide their own add-ins for Outlook. Yes, that is correct. They do provide that, but what we are providing is not only a point-to-point integration between a CRM tool and Outlook. Most of the other options available are like point-to-point integrations. Here, your Outlook or your CRM tool is connecting to an integration bus, which can actually transfer the data to multiple different applications that are excuse me, that are being used in the life cycle. Next question, what are the prerequisites for integration with my CRM other than Salesforce? Alright, to connect to other CRM tools, we would need to build an adapter for that CRM tool. Typically, we take 6 to 8 weeks to build an adapter. That is also, I mean, it depends on the complexity of the tool and the nature of API that is available from the tool vendor. So typically nowadays all the tools, they have very strong APIs and almost you can do anything with that. So you can say it would take 6 to 8 weeks of effort from our side to create this. So this is in man weeks, of course. So it can be calendar weeks wise, it can be further compressed. And that is the only prerequisite. So one thing I would like to mention here is we do not connect directly to the databases of different tools because we prefer to use APIs, because database structures and schema, those can change over a period of time. But API, once published, the signatures are maintained, or if it is deprecated, then we are told in advance that this is not going to be continued in the next version and so on. So that's why we do not directly query the databases, we use the APIs. Next question is, what about the data integration? Does Omnibus, that is Kovair India, has the control over the data that is exchanged between these tools? Yeah, so that's a very good question. The data, as you know, has to be governed by the access that a particular user has. So developer would have only access to certain artifacts, whereas a manager might have access to a lot more artifacts. And even within those artifacts, within a project, the list of requirements, there may be some classification that requirements belonging to this module should only be visible to those users. So all those things can be taken care of in the Kovair platform. So we have a very granular access control mechanism that can look after this. And also, while the integration is happening, there can be filters designed which can specify only which items will move on to the next tool. Another question we have here is, what are the Outlook version support to third-party integration? So currently the Outlook version supported is the latest one, Outlook 2013, and also Outlook 2010. So these are the two versions we support right now. Alright, the next question is, can I push the task created and plan and schedule those in MS Project? Yes, absolutely. So that's a very good question. And yeah, so task appears in your inbox, you can push it back into MS Project in a particular project file or a project server, and then that can be used in MS Project to do the planning, and it can be retrieved back into Outlook, and then it will come up as a scheduled job with blocking out your calendar for that part. So all that thing can be done. The next question is, what is the cost of the adapter? Okay, so I don't think this is the right place to discuss about cost, so you can drop us a mail at sales@kovair.com and our sales guys will get in touch with you regarding the cost. But only thing I can say is it's not only about the cost of the adapter, but there's a cost associated with the platform itself, and then individual adapters, as you add them to the platform, you have to pay for those adapters. And in the integration scenario, it often happens that we roll out initially with fewer tools, 3 or 4 tools, and then keep on adding more tools as we see that the currently connected tools are working great in the integrated scenario. Then we add more tools.
Puranjay, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. As we are running short of time, I request you to take one more question and then we can close this session.
Okay, sure, Aradhana. So we'll take the last question over here. Is we need develop to create our e-support CRM app that to Kovair Outlook adapter integration. So the language is not very clear. So I think the question is whether the customer needs to develop adapter for eSupport CRM application to connect to this integrated system. So the answer is some customers have done it, so they have created their own adapters for Kovair Omnibus, and you don't need to create anything for Outlook separately. If you create an adapter for Omnibus, that should get you connected to all the tools including Outlook, and we will also be more than glad to create that adapter for you. So that's the answer for the last question, and thank you all so much for spending your time and attending the webinar. Thanks Aradhana for being a beautiful host.
Thank you, Puranjay. And due to time constraint, I request you to take the unanswered questions offline, which I will share with you through the email.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm really thankful to our guest speaker for conducting this wonderful webinar today. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the webinar will be available on techgig.com by tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Puranjay. Again, have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye.